Hello, and welcome to my Modlist showcase, where I give an overview and opinion on mod lists to help find the right one for you. This time, we're looking at the Phoenix FLAVOUR Dragons Edition by Dragonblame, released for Skyrim Anniversary Edition. The version I've been playing on is version 2.7.2, released on the 7th of July 2022, and you can check on their Discord below for any changes and updates. Firstly, what is the Phoenix FLAVOUR Dragons Edition? The description reads, a fork of the Phoenix FLAVOUR mod list, which expands Skyrim's world and possibilities extensively by adding adventuristic content for many tastes and beautiful scenery surrounding it. The Phoenix FLAVOUR is available to download from the Wabberjack Modlist installer and manually on Nexus Mods. While I won't cover the specifics of the installation in this video, the installation process is explained with clear instructions on the Modlist README. And for further help with the download, you can follow along with my Wabberjack explanation guide video on my channel and linked below. And it's worth noting that although this is described as a fork in the Phoenix FLAVOUR, that Modlist isn't required if you wish to install this one. With around 1,300 mods, you'll need over 180GB of storage to download. And once installed, everything is already configured, so you can just boot it up and get playing immediately. Now for what the mod list adds. For this showcase, I'll be showing clips taken throughout my current playthrough. I've spent plenty of time with this list, and so I have a good grasp on what it's like to play. As you can see, this list improves the graphics of almost everything, while leaning into the vibrant fantasy side of Skyrim. Forests feel more lush and dense, with mods like Enhanced Vanilla Trees, Vados Brom Regions, Cathedral 3D Pinegrass, and much more, providing new realistic tree models and adding more vegetation to the untamed areas of the world. Also as a side note, this list has been updated since making this video to include more vegetation mods, like Happy Little Trees. On top of this, a plethora of new texture mods have been added, with mods like Noble Skyrim, Majestic Mountains, and Tamrielic textures, creating the base for the overall look. For weather, this list uses cathedral weathers and seasons, which provides new vibrant weathers, which vary depending on the time of year, and it's paired with mods like Relighting Skyrim and Luminosity Lighting Overhaul to create realistic lighting and shadows, making interiors dark, but not quite pitch black like some other lists. Also, the Incredible Seasons of Skyrim mod is included, which makes Skyrim's entire landscape change depending on the time of year, and just little things like seeing Whiterun covered in snow create a whole different feel, without breaking away from the vanilla style. As for the EMB, the Paicho EMB is included, with a few tweaks added by the Modlist author. It definitely brings out the saturation of the world, making the colours really pop in the usually duller looking areas. Of course, EMBs are always down to personal taste, so the list's README briefly mentions how you can add another of your choosing. Then finally there's the performance, where I feel it hits a good middle ground. Because of how great it looks, it's more performance intensive than vanilla focus lists, including the original Phoenix FLAVOUR, yet it still runs really well, and better than other high quality mod lists. I was able to hold 60 FPS, even in performance intensive areas, and I encountered pretty much no bugs while playing. The original Phoenix FLAVOUR mod list aimed to polish up the vanilla experience, and with this Dragons Edition, things are taken a step further, with new additions added to many systems that are offered. For perks, this list uses Adamant, a perk overhaul, which completely overhauls Skyrim's perk trees to balance and improve the vanilla ones, while adding in new perks of its own. This makes levelling far more interesting, and supports many underused playstyles, such as Unarmed and Shouting. And combined with the Adamant perks for NPCs, there's a 15% chance of some perks being applied to NPCs, just to add some variety. With many of Skyrim's mechanics, this list uses many of the mods made by Simon Magus. For example, Thaumaturgy overhauls enchanting to be much more balanced, and prevents many of the enchanting exploits that were once available. Apothecary changes up alchemy, reducing their overall value, while providing strong potions with more new and interesting effects. Mundus overhauls almost every standing stone ability to be more interesting and support a specific playstyle. Pilgrim provides benefits for worshipping a specific deity. Aetherius adds new and stronger racial abilities to make each race feel much more unique. And I could go on for ages, so I'll leave it at that. As for other notable mods, open world loot makes it so the loot you find is mostly tied to your progression, so you're unlikely to find really powerful gear early on, but you will if you're willing to take on a difficult dungeon. The honed metal mod makes it so blacksmiths and mages will be able to craft, temper and enchant your equipment for a price. The quick loot mod adds the looting system from Fallout 4. Trade and barter makes trading items and prices more dependent on your location and race. And finally, fast travel is disabled by default, and carriages are made much more useful with the carriage and ferry travel overhaul. So overall, Dragon's Edition's goal is to add more variety to what is offered in the vanilla game. Many of these mods offer huge changes, yet are so balanced and integrated well that they fit right in and feel as if they were always there. The combat has been made more complex and difficult, but the main aim is to keep things fair. The main combat mod is Blade and Blunt, which slows down combat to make every strike more costly to stamina, but also more damaging. The mod comes with a number of new features, but to list off some of the most important: with your weapon drawn and when attacking, you'll now move considerably slower. You'll no longer regenerate stamina while attacking, and drawing a bow will also slowly drain your stamina, and when falling below 0 stamina, your character will experience a series of debuffs. However, to balance things out, Magicka and stamina both regenerate a little faster. Also, large creatures like giants are tougher to take down, enemy AI is more intelligent and aggressive, attacking when the enemy is vulnerable will deal 50% more damage, and overall, damage values have been balanced depending on what difficulty you're playing on. While I've listed a good amount of changes, it's still worth checking out the Blade and Blunt Nexus page for all the details. For other notable mods, Arena changes up the encounters in dungeons, and without getting into the specifics of how enemy levels are calculated, they're less likely to be a lower level than you, and you'll frequently have to gauge whether you're appropriately geared for a dungeon. The Smart NPC Potions mod means that NPCs will use a variety of potions in a fight, which makes combat more difficult, but you know, it makes sense. And finally, a number of movement mods have been included, such as jumping attack, TK dodge, and even crouch sliding. Many of the biggest and best quest mods have been included, adding hundreds of hours of playtime to the game, such as the beloved Beyond Skyrim Bruma, Clockwork, the Forgotten City, and much more, all of which being high quality, and many offering new lands to explore, voiced NPCs to find, unique weapons and armour, and so much more. And a few vanilla quests have been tweaked as well, with mods like Save the Ice Runner and improved companions, adding subtle changes which provide more roleplay options, and allow you to tackle quests in a different manner. As for the world of Skyrim itself, mods like Cities of the North change up the aesthetic of many of the cities, and fill them out with more props and unique buildings. And some smaller towns have been expanded, adding new walls and farms, and just making them look like places people could actually live. Finally, to top things off, a number of player homes have been added, such as Viking's Longhouse, Red Rose Mill, and Wind Path, all of which being incredibly high quality and fitting perfectly into the world. Hours of new music has been included, coming from the Northerner Diaries, Chapter 2, and Melodies of Civilization, most of which stick into the feel of Skyrim's original soundtrack. And for the overall audio, mods like Audio Overhaul for Skyrim, Immersive Sounds, as well as a bunch of more specific audio mods have been included, all of which improving the sounds of Skyrim and really bringing you into the world. Have a listen for yourself. loads of new items have been included, adding a huge variety to your character's look and playstyle. For weapons, the main goal has been to improve the vanilla weapons, with new shapes and textures making them stand out from each other. And mods like Royal Armory provide important characters with their own unique weapons to use. Also, NPCs in Skyrim will now carry a variety of crossbows from the Dawnguard DLC. And the same goes for armours, with the mod's Armour Variants expansion and Armour and Clothing extension adding a huge amount of diversity to the vanilla wearables. This way, there's loads of new variety while sticking to the theme of Skyrim. Plus it's worth mentioning that some quest mods include new weapons and armours. Also much of the Creation Club content is included. And as a final note, a potion called Drought of Fate Unwound has been added, which one drank allows you to respec your perk points. For some extra points to talk about, the mod Forceful Tongue overhauls shouts, where now they'll scale with your level, and they have general tweaks to be more interesting and balanced. Mods like Scion and Man-Beast overhaul vampires and werewolves, making it viable to revolve an entire build around them. The Animated Traversal mod has also been included, which is a new mod which allows for climbing ledges, jumping over walls, crawling into small spaces and more. And while it's not yet something that works seamlessly throughout the world, I have no doubt that the mod will get better with time. Skyhud and Moorhud have been included with their own custom presets, providing more information on screen and cleaning up the vanilla HUD. The End Times mod is also included, which means you have a year in-game time before the world ends from the big bad. And I know this can be off-putting for some, but it's easy to forget just how long a year in-game really is. And finally, the No Lockpicking mod removes the lockpicking minigame, and instead takes a number of lockpicks from your inventory depending on how difficult it is. Although this might not be for everyone, so I'll talk about it in the next section of this video. Now for some additions to the list, but first I must stress, any changes you make to the list has nothing to do with the Modlist author. You should only do so if you have an understanding of modding and accept that any consequences are yours to deal with. If you're into survival like me, I'd suggest using something lightweight, like Sunhelm. I've also seen people trying to add the True Directional Movement mod for third person, and it seems like some people get it working, and some people encounter errors, so it's up to you if you want to go for it. I've also previously mentioned the End Times mod and No Lockpicking mods, which I believe can be safely disabled before starting a new game. And as a final note, Ultraroid support is included with the list, and I just want to say thank you because without the support, it makes recording these videos a real pain in the buttocks. Overall, the Phoenix Flavor Dragons edition offers an incredibly polished experience that I think a lot of people will enjoy. While some want a list that's hyper-focused on one aspect of Skyrim, this list aims to improve and expand upon what was offered in the base game, while providing an incredible amount of new quests and lands to explore. Everything feels more balanced and in-depth, while also not feeling out of place for someone first delving into Skyrim. Also, the list visually looks great, and really immerses you into the world. With how the seasons and weather changes, the way the towns and cities look more believable, bundled with the new ways to interact with the scenery, it all really comes together to bring the world of Skyrim to life. If you wanted something that offers more in-depth mechanics and more quests than the original Phoenix Flavor mod list, while also remaining loyal to Skyrim and performance friendly, then this list is the one for you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I really appreciate it if you gave it a like as it helps the channel grow. I also have a Discord where I talk about, mod stuff and anything you want. And a Twitch that I will stream. It's gonna happen one day. I'm gonna start streaming. Just get ready. And also I'm sorry if my voice sounds funny. I've been deadly sick for the past couple weeks and unable to record. And I was just like, you know what, forget it. This recording session has taken so long. But I did it. I got through it. Other than that, big thank you to my Patreon supporters, Joey, Emperador Wolf, Jack Ma, Michael Eric and Christian Hell. Your contributions help me so much, and they give me a boost, like this week where I've just been ill, but it's all your contributions that push me to work harder, so thank you. And I also have a Ko-fi account for people who want to give little donations. And thank you to JJK, Alexander, and Amakwaki, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, for giving me a donation on Ko-fi. It's so much appreciated. And thank you everyone. Farewell.